You know when you're about to post on social media, whether it's something that's like authentically you, or maybe it's a little spicy or controversial, or you're just showcasing a part of you, your craft, your business, and then that sneaky little thought comes up and is like, what if someone leaves a bad comment? And then that spirals into you not even posting, right? Or maybe you do and you go and post and then someone does leave a negative comment, and then that turns into even more of a spiral, which leads you to taking like a social media break unintentionally, but really you just fear that happening again, right? That puts your nervous system on. Then this is for you. Hi, I am Ashley Vargas. I am the Shadow Alchemist here on YouTube, and we are going to be diving into how to not let negative comments impact you or your business. When you're an entrepreneur or an influencer, you are ultimately setting yourself up to put yourself in front of more and more people. And what this does is sets you up to be judged. It sets you up in a very vulnerable position, which is why most people have that fear of being seen, because they just don't want to experience the judgment and the hurt that potentially comes with being seen. That then leads to us playing small. That then leads to us not showing up, not taking the actions that are required to build a massively successful business, as well as change the world and live out our purpose. If you are able to go out and take those actions, will the negative comments be able to be brushed off, or will they send you into that spiral where then you're procrastinating, right? You don't get shit done. You're isolating yourself, you're binging Netflix, you're playing into more sabotage behaviors out of fear of experiencing that again. Well, that's why it's important to be able to show up and show up powerfully without letting external opinions or comments from trolls or haters on social media to stop you from making the impact that you desire, from impacting millions, from making millions. If you want to do that, you need to be able to have the skill of being able to not be impacted by those negative comments. That then keeps us in the state of being our authentic self. And as we know, our authentic self is the roadmap to creating wild amounts of success. We're going to be going into 3 different points. The first point is going to be know who you are. The second point is going to be own who you are. And the third point is all about neutralizing the external circumstances. And I do got a little bonus for you at the end of a full ritual on really how to move through getting those negative comments so that, again, you can show up powerfully despite it. Let's start off with the first one. It is so freaking important for you to really know who you are at your core. And I'm talking about the authentic you. The reason this is important is because if you know who you are and what that comment says doesn't match, you're gonna be able to just brush it off versus it landing and wounding you. And the reason it lands and wounds you is because there are pieces of you that are most likely subconscious, or maybe they are conscious at this point, that maybe sort of believe that what is said in that comment could be true. When we are able to see that comment and we already have that strong sense of self and who we are at the core, that comment now almost becomes more of a joke than a wound, right? You're laughing at it because you know who you are and that does not match up. It's sort of like, you know, if someone says, Like, if someone were to come up to me and be like, Ashley, your birthday is not. If someone were to come up to me and be like, Ashley, you are not a Scorpio, right? And I know that you could also have like the sigil astrology and all of that, but we're going with tropical. And they were to say, Ashley, you are not a Scorpio, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I am. Like, I know I'm a Scorpio, I know my birth time, all of this, right? But if I were not confident about that part of astrology, about the fact that I am a Scorpio, and if they were to say that, then I may be spiraling. That might trigger the insecurity or the self-doubt aspect in me around that specific topic, right? Which then causes that wound, which then opens up the wound for me to go into that spiral even more. But because I know I am a Scorpio, I can just be like, fuck, like, no, I am a Scorpio. It is what it is. It's not something that's impacting me. So that's why it's important to know who you are. So anything else outside of that doesn't click, doesn't hit, doesn't land, doesn't align. And you know that for a fact. Because again, if there's any subconscious piece of you that believes what the other person is saying is true, that is when you into a potential spiral. So it's important to really go and dive into self-discovery. Learn who the absolute 100% authentic you is. And it's so freaking important, and that's why in my Embodied Baddie program, I literally have an entire module called the $1 Million You, where it's all about learning who you are before the outside circumstances, environment, or society told you who or how to be instead. So go learn about you, get confident and secure, and know who you are. Into the second piece of own who you are, right? Once you know who you are, how can you really own it? How can you really add in that confidence to back up who you are? Not only is this going to bring an extra level of security in who you are, but it literally leaves no ammo for the other person against you, right? And I am talking about, when I say own who you are, I mean own your flaws, I mean own your quirks, I mean own those weird things about you, own those repressed pieces about you, and love them all. And not only love and radically love them all, but embrace them, right? So if you haven't seen my other video, it's a full training called Quirky Anchor Points, where you literally turn a quirk into your brand superpower, right? And even if you're not a business owner, you can still use this as an energetic standpoint. So go watch that video if you haven't already. So when you have fully embraced who you are, there is no way that that piece can be weaponized against you. You are solid. You are good. Know who you are, and then own who you are. This goes into the third point of neutralizing that comment. Realizing that that comment is really just a projection from them. When we neutralize that comment, we know that that comment is neither good or bad. We are able to acknowledge that that comment is simply a comment. It's simply just words typed and sent, which it then does not spark or trigger any emotions within us, which might cause a reaction, right? A reaction of spiraling, or a reaction of lashing back out at them. And maybe you want to send a spicy comment back, and that's fine, but get to a neutral place so you can respond to it instead of react to it, right? Because that reaction is coming from the shadow aspects of ourselves. Now, Your girl is all for being a fool, being a little petty every now and then. So as long as it's harm to none, I ain't saying don't do that. Just again, make sure you are responding and being intentional and coming from ultimately a place of love and from your heart. When you neutralize it, you not only disconnect yourself from that emotional charge, but again, realize it's a projection of them. The reason they are picking that out in you is because they have it in them and they have repressed it, right? They have hid it down, right? That is a trigger. That is a wound for them. But because you know who you are and you have owned who you are and you've learned about neutralization through this, it does not impact you. It's almost like they're throwing something at you and it's getting blocked. These 3 key points, and they seem so freaking simple, and they are, yet so potent, so powerful. Will literally set you up to play big. These will literally set you up for massive amounts of success in your business and in the impact you want to create. Now, I do want to give you a little bonus here about creating a ritual so that you can allow the energy sent to you to flow right out, flow through and move out. Because yes, it is important to neutralize, but it also is okay if we do feel some type of emotional response, right? That's not a bad thing. It only becomes unbeneficial when we allow ourselves to stay stuck in it, right? And not process it. When you do experience a negative comment, ask yourself, what do you need in this moment? Is it to vent and rant? Because so many people are against that. But I know how beneficial it's been to myself, to my clients, to my friends, when we are able to rant a little bit, to vent about it, right? Because yes, it ultimately is an attack on us, on our craft. And as Erykah Badu said, I'm sensitive about my shit, right? It is okay to have an emotional charge, right? That's not a bad thing. And it venting and ranting and dipping into that negativity a little bit, and I quote that, is okay, as long as we don't get stuck in it. If it allows us to feel it, to process it and release it, by all means go for it. It's okay to be offended when someone judges or critiques our art, our craft, our business, our purpose, ourselves from a place of negativity. Or ask yourself, like, do I need to shake or like move my body to allow myself to literally release it, to let it flow out? Or maybe you can ask yourself, is what I'm needing right now to love up on myself, to nurture myself? Or maybe it's to hype yourself up and really get into those high vibes? Or is it all 3? The goal is to feel it, to let it flow out, to release it, to tend to yourself, and then get back to the energy that is most supportive for you. So that is a ritual you can begin implementing when you do get negative comments, because it is inevitable. People are shitty. People are projecting out there, right? And again, not everybody, but it happens. And the more success you have, the more it's going to trigger people. And the more you are in front of people, the more likely it will happen. But if you are set in knowing who you are, owning who you are, and being able to neutralize it, you are literally set. You are solid. You will be good through every phase of becoming more and more visible, more and more successful, and impacting more. So with that being said, I know you got gems from this. I know this was extremely beneficial. I'd love to hear your thoughts, what came up for you. And if you have different rituals or different outlooks or perspective on this specific topic, drop it in the comments, right? This community is for you and for all of us to come together, to grow together, and to fuck around and figure it out together. So I'd love to hear your outlook on it as well. And be sure to subscribe, because in the next video, we're actually going to be going more in depth into the number 1 on here, which was know who you are. So if you are committed to creating a business that you not only love, a business that makes you bank at the same time, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and let's get it. I'll see you next time.